Hello, my name is Justin. I work here at JTM Musical Repairs. I wanted to do this video to show you how to fill the nut slot on your guitar. This is my Gibson Les Paul. I've had it forever, and it needs a lot of maintenance. It's a guitar that I basically play every single day, so it's getting old. I forget how old it is, 35 years old now. So it's pretty worn out. So what I noticed this morning when I picked it up and I went and I tuned it, and the E string right here was buzzing terribly when I was playing the open string, which meant that the nut slot was too low on the guitar. I checked the truss rod, it had plenty of relief, and the way that I found out that it was the nut and not some other problem in the guitar was by pressing on the 4th fret and then checking to see how much space was underneath the string at the 1st fret, and there was zero. The actual string was touching that 1st fret when you press down the 4th, which tells me that the nut's too low. So I fixed it really easily by using a really simple technique, which you'll need a toothpick, some baking soda, and some super glue. And that's all you need basically, and a set of files. I forgot that. You will need some files in order to lower that slot the way you want. But basically the way that you go about fixing this, it's really simple, is the toothpick is so that you don't just, a lot of people just walk over here and they just squirt super glue here, and what happens a lot of times is that it'll actually squirt out and land all over your headstock or your fingerboard, which is really, really bad because it's a very hard thing to get off your guitar. So that's where the toothpick comes in, is that we take just a little bit of super glue and we put it at the end of the toothpick, which forms just ever so slightly. There we go. Just a little tiny ball of super glue hanging off the edge here, and we're going to set it in our nut slot that we want to raise, which in this case is the big E string on the guitar. And now that we've got our super glue in there, we're going to take just a little pinch of baking soda, and you could use anything. You could use bone dust. You know, really baking soda or bone dust is your best choice. Probably bone dust would be a better choice, but baking soda for most people is more plentiful than bone dust. Where are you going to get some bone dust? You know, unless you have a piece of bone that you can sand down. So baking soda works great. And we'll wait for this to dry, which it'll take a little while. Don't rush it, just give it, you know, maybe an hour or so to dry really nice and hard before you start messing with it. You also need, like I said, a set of files. These are the correct files to use for this. These are actually the nut slotting files. You can get them from Stuart McDonald or All Parts. Both of those companies have them. I think CE Distribution has them, and Mojo Tone might also have them, and probably Luthier's Mercantile as well. Or you can use a set of needle files. These don't work quite as well because they're not gauged files, but they can work in a pinch if you need to use one. So we're just going to use this, and you're going to use if you do have the right size file, you'll want to use the right size for the string. If you don't, you're just going to have to play it by ear and see that you can get it to where it doesn't clink and tink when you turn the tuning screw and or the tuning peg, and that it sets exactly where you want it. So again, if this was dry, I would go ahead and file it and then set it in there. And again, go back to the beginning of the video and check for your string height until you get it to where there's just a tiny little bit of space under that 1st fret. Maybe, you know, a sheet of paper thickness, you know, like a notebook pad sheet of paper thickness underneath there. You don't need much. Very little distance between that string and that 1st fret when you're pressing down the 4th fret will give you the exact action that you want there at your nut. So anyway, I hope that helps,